Hey there, my name is Stephanie and I am an alcoholic in recovery. It has been 5 years since I have tasted alcohol, but on any given day, I could slip right back into that alcoholic behavior and die. Alcoholics Anonymous is a program that saved my life, but I was forced into it. When my boss slipped me a Mickey in January of 2020, I crashed my car, woke up in the drunk tank, and was forced into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it took 6 months of court-ordered meetings for it to really sink in for me. So I know it's hard for us to ask for help and to recognize when we are feeling overwhelmed and addicted. But the truth is, all of us have something to work on, don't we? All of us have a vice that we lean on a little too much, unless we're perfect. And it's not really about perfection, is it? It's about progress. That's what the program teaches us. I'm here to share my experience, strength, and hope with you so that you can help yourself and help me navigate this hard, difficult, tricky, disgusting life we're living right now. And find the beauty, the joy, the spirituality, the atheistic spirituality. So here we go through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous to modernize it so I can share with you the things that work for me and you can take what works and leave the rest behind. I'll try to be as inclusive as I can with genders, pronouns, and all that jazz. This book was written almost 100 years ago, and so it's a little antiquated. But I've read it before, I've been through it with my sponsor, I've been through the steps, and it's my turn to give back because we can only keep it if we give it away. And that's what the program teaches us. My personal therapist, she's amazing. She's actually been sober 30 plus years in the program. That's just a coincidence. She's also just my talk therapist, which not just, she's awesome. She's amazing. And I absolutely adore the fact that she stays connected to the program, even though it's been 30 some years since she's tasted alcohol. But that's what the program teaches us, that we have to nurture that fellowship, that support group that we can lean on and ask for help when life is bringing us down because we are living in very difficult times right now. And as a sexual assault survivor, I can tell you that my manifestations of addiction turn to very greedy, selfish behavior. If I'm not drinking and handling my program of recovery, self-care, self-reflection, taking accountability, apologizing when necessary, and making change, then what happens is I fall into Amazon.com and I buy too much stuff I don't need. I also fall into things like TikTok addiction and attention from other people addiction. I'm a retired actress. I have a tendency to like attention. I don't mind it. When I'm feeling low and feeling like life just isn't worth living, sometimes that hit of endorphin, of dopamine, of goodness, whatever you want to call it, is just a wink, a nod, a text from somebody that actually I should not be reaching out to because I know my addictive behavior and I know that it can be destructive for not just me, but other people. So let's talk about Amazon.com and how that affects us as alcoholics. It's so easy for us to lean into this, especially if you live in a super urban area where delivery can happen within 5 hours for $5, whatever the heck you want in the entire world. It's super easy to be detached from your bank account when all it is numericals and plastic. So what the program of recovery teaches us is that we can apply this to all parts of our life where we feel a little out of control, where we feel like that pull is kind of in control of us instead of us in control of it. And if we're feeding our spiritual guardian inward, 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 loving ourselves inward, outward, then those addictive self-harming behaviors will not creep in. When we're feeling bad about ourselves, that's when we lay into the self-harm and we try to make it worse because we think, what the hell? It's already screwed, right? All or nothing. It's already destroyed. So let's just throw it all in, throw in the towel, burn it all down. That is the addictive mind, and I understand it completely. I'm right there with you. And so in my daily life, working a program of recovery, it looks like mindful behavior with the things I purchase, the people I text, the videos I make. I literally had to stop being on TikTok because it's just too fun. They make it perfectly addictive. You want to stay on there. You want to buy crap you don't need. You want to drive out of your way just to record a video for some random friend who lives in Minnesota who's going to give you a heart on a rectangular computer that will serve nothing for you long term. Because this is not a confidence builder. A confidence builder comes from when we're working in our character, we're working in our personality and our personal growth. You can get a little bit of that on TikTok. Not saying it's not possible. There's beautiful information there and beautiful things to glean. But as an addict in recovery, I can't be on TikTok right now. And I know that about myself. It is way too addictive for me and I will regret things. So I've deactivated it and we'll see what happens there. When we're feeling bad about ourselves, there will be some default debauchery. I had to look inward in my addiction, in my alcohol-free journey, and find that I wanted to reach out to other things to replace the negativity inside of me, to escape it. Now, there are healthy things to do. I find that gardening, singing, roller skating, jumping rope, swimming, most of the things that fill my soul happen outside. And Mother Nature and this universe and the omnipresent good and love that exists is my higher power. So that makes perfect sense for me. So your job in your program of recovery is to find those nuggets of spirituality that embrace your heart and your body and your mind and make you feel free as a human being. And if you're confused about what that is, you got to look backwards. What was it when you were a child? What ignited your soul and made you feel careless and free? Grab at your harm reduction and find a way to dig in deep and be honest with yourself and me. Let's kill some time and save some lives. Big Book Study of Alcoholics Anonymous. We'll begin with Chapter 5, How It Works. We'll review that and then move in to where we left off from last week. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually people who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave and emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go at any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is higher power. May you find them now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked our higher power's protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of our higher power as we understood them. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to our higher power and ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have our higher power remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked our higher power to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with our higher power as we understood them, praying only for knowledge of their will for us and the power to carry that out. And number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear three pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that our higher power could and would if they were sought. We're going to pick up on the bottom of page 83, the chapters Into Action in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that our higher power is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Let's pause there. Those are the promises of the program. And I got to tell you, they are true. They are real. If you follow this format for living, taking accountability, apologizing when necessary, being honest and truthful with another person, and making change in your life, feeding that spiritual garden, and finding new paths towards joy, then these promises will come true. The financial insecurity, the situations that used to baffle us, there will be a freedom and a serenity. The promises tell us that, and it is true. And the proof is all of the people in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous who have been saved by this amazing program. It's basically a format for living. You can leave the dogma behind and just take what works and leave the rest for somebody else. So right there, I know my program of recovery is suffering. Stephanie, alcoholic here, 5 years off the sauce. I know my program of recovery is suffering if I'm losing my patience with people quicker, if I'm feeling fried and like I'm burning the candle at both ends, if I'm feeling like I'm taking out my aggression on people or being too harsh with people. And I have to look at that realistically. I do. And I have a tendency to have a harshness in my voice because that's how I was spoken to as a child. And I really have to take accountability for that in my family time because the people I'm closest with, I can speak most harshly to. Not the words I choose. I don't choose mean words. I've been able to let go of that horrible way of arguing. I just have a shrillness that can sound like it's accusatory when it's really not. It's just me being dysregulated in my body, feeling some feelings that are overwhelming to me, and me not spending time to handle that before I address the situation, this person, this circumstance. Because if my body is regulated, if I'm working my program of recovery, I'm taking a breath. I don't react to situations, I respond. Because if I react, I'll just go drink. It hurts, I'll drink. I'm celebrating, I'll drink. I want to do this now, I'll just drink instead. But when I'm reacting, it's bad. When I respond, it's good. A response is a calculated move. That's what a response is. It's a calculated move. We can define it another time. But your response is you take in information and then you can actually take it in. So when we're harsh with people, when we're hurting people's feelings, we're not able to receive what they're giving to us. So what you'll have is a volley of power, a volley of angst, unless one person stays regulated, recognizes the situation, removes themselves, and allows the other person to regulate themselves. Or you can co-regulate. That's just sometimes a hug. Sometimes couples or family members will co-regulate with humor. They'll try to break up negativity or uncomfortable situations with humor, which can be helpful as long as we're not escaping difficult conversations, but releasing the tension. There's a difference. So the promises do come true. And you'll find individuals in these meetings of AA who are angry at the program because they're not seeing the results that they want in their life. And the first time you start blaming the program is the first time you got to look in the mirror, kid. Well, maybe you haven't looked in the mirror because the program is not the problem. The program works. Looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, this is what's messed up about me. It hurts me. It takes over and it makes me do stupid stuff I don't like. Like for Stephanie, I would be so promiscuous. I would sleep around. The amount of people I've slept with would astound you. You'd be astounded. I've also been drugged and raped 4 times in my life and 5 times by people that were not my father. But you see how that cycle of alcoholism, because I started drinking the same night I was first raped by someone other than my father. And then the pattern just continues. And the sexuality that my father introduced into my life as a child when he molested me was then what I found my power to be in the bars and the restaurants and in every part of my life, because I saw that people responded to my sexuality most. That's how I could easily get what I needed to survive. Now, I broke a lot of hearts, but it wasn't because I was mean or malicious. I was loving, kind, and compassionate as I could be, but I was in fight or flight all the time. And today, my program of recovery helps me check my body, check my life, so that I'm not in fight or flight, so that I'm finding serenity, peace, and response to life instead of that reactionary behavior that causes regret, which we know drinking is. And gambling is a big problem for a lot of us. I know it is. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, all of it. It's important for us to find our higher power, find our inner peace, and then find our program of recovery, because they all go hand in hand. The steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't believe, have to be done in any particular order, except for number 1 has to be done first. You have to admit you are powerless over alcohol and that your life has become unmanageable. Until you actually admit that to yourself and another person, this program is not going to work for you. If you're still like, I can control my drinking, I don't have a problem. If you're still saying that to yourself in the mirror, then the program ain't gonna work, kid. Ain't gonna work. It starts working the moment you say to yourself in the mirror, silently, I am powerless over alcohol. My life has become unmanageable. Stephanie, alcoholic here. I can look myself in the mirror with dignity and not cry. When I was at my drinking worst, I could not look myself in the eye. I had no self-dignity, self-respect, because the alcohol made me choose it over myself, my family, my loved ones, my health, the world's health. I was drinking and driving all the time, putting everyone at risk, because I allowed the alcohol to take over my body. One sip, and it may as well bit me like a vampire, and my blood was infected. That's why we talk about alcohol abstinence. There is no safe amount of alcohol. Why? Because you might have your alcohol under control right now. But at some point in your life, there will be a time where it might seem good to just drink more. It's a progressive disease. You won't realize you have it till it's too late. That's what progressive disease means. I had to learn that the hard way. Like progressive. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I actually had to live it to understand that a progressive alcoholism means you won't know you got the disease, kid, until it's too late. Meaning you have to go through the program of recovery. You don't have the option of just setting it down. If you are one of those people, congratulations, go mountain biking. You don't need to be here. Your spirituality and your support system is okay. But some of us, people like me, we need to learn those adult behaviors, like creating friendships that we can reach out to when we're struggling instead of turning to depressive toxins like alcohol. Our society teaches us that this is normal and good for us, and it's not. There's no amount of safe alcohol consumption. Just ask the World Health Organization. Back to the text. Middle of page 84. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Let's pause there. I don't like the word always, but here, I do think it's true. If you put one seed in the ground towards recovery, something better will materialize. I know this to be true. I've seen it work in real time. Every time I've made a personal choice to do something that was better for me and my heart, my soul, my body, my family, the goodness, the universe, I felt better later, and I got more lifted out of my depression and more lifted out of my self-pity, which is where the addiction comes in. The addiction and the self-pity, they live hand in hand. The kryptonite to the addiction is not wallowing in the self-pity. Some people are addicted to depression. Do you know those people? They fight any reason to take meds, but they're miserable. I have a friend like that. Back to the text. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. We vigorously commenced this way of living as we cleaned up the past. We have entered the world of the spirit. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for our lifetime. Continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Let's pause there. It's not an overnight matter. You're not going to go to a couple meetings or read a few sentences and then all of your addiction tendencies will be lifted. No. If you need to replace the alcohol right now with wheatgrass, then just go right ahead and do it. Because these addictive behaviors need to be channeled elsewhere. So you'll exercise, you'll meditate, you'll have sex in a safe and controlled manner with people that are safe and not in a promiscuous, self-destructive manner. Making love is good, but you have to make sure that you're not a sex addict and not a love addict, because those things live hand in hand with alcoholism. I've had personal experience with that. That's all we need to go into with that. The text tells us to continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. And when they crop up, you ask your higher power once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately and make amends quickly if we have harmed anyone. Amends means change. We make a change quickly. You don't always have to make an apology. Sometimes you just make a change. Make an apology when it's appropriate, but we want to do less harm. Harm reduction is the idea of the program. It's the idea of this channel, because this is better than drinking. If harm reduction means something like cannabis, antidepressants, psychotherapy, even if your harm reduction is taking whiskey and turning it to beer today, I want you to find the safe place for you to harm reduce, because we're all at different places in our lives. You'll find risk takers who are free climbing mountains that they could slip and die at any moment. To me, that is an addict who's not in recovery. Maybe I'm wrong, but I find to be these risk-taking behaviors, these dysregulating behaviors are what bring us back to the addiction and the self-harm. So when we're looking at ourselves and we feel dishonesty, resentment, fear, and selfishness, we ask our higher power to remove them, and we discuss. We let it go. Now, this is the one thing that the Catholics have right: confessional. The problem with confessional is it's owned and run by the church, right? The problem with confessional, it's a church-run thing. In the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, confessional works with your sponsor and with your AA members. You can confide in these people. You just have to find a safe person, and maybe that person is your romantic partner, your spouse right now, your roommate, your sibling, your parent. But we all need someone to confide in where we don't feel judged and like it's going to negatively affect our overall life quality. So that's why a sponsor is not necessarily your best friend, and they're not your therapist. They're there to walk you through the program and listen to you with non-judgmental and open-minded ears to help ground you through the program like someone did for them. They're paying it forward as I'm doing here. This program, this channel, this episode is a 12-step for me, because giving it away is how I keep it. The crows have a lot to say today. We have a crow who's very interactive with the family. We've named him My Crow. He's not small. There's two of them. They live happily around and they eat all the cat food and dog food that's left over, and everybody's done for the day. We have an orange tree that the squirrels love to devour. So it's quite an active nature backyard here. I feel very grateful to be where I am today. Confide in an AA member, a sponsor, and then make a change quickly if you've harmed anyone. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Being of service. Love and tolerance of others is our code. Let's stop there. So many amazing nuggets in this book. You guys, it's going to take us forever to get through this, but that's okay, right? Because more content. Love and tolerance of others is our code. Let's think about that. Love and tolerance of others is our code. That's the Alcoholics Anonymous way. Think of how beautiful that is. Isn't that what we all strive for, especially today, especially in the United States? Back to the text. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. Pause there, that's true. Even in my most stressful times right now, I'm actually going through a very stressful time right now. You can't tell by looking at me because I'm working a program of recovery. Now, sometimes I do share with you the nitty gritty nastiness of my recovery, but today I'm feeling wonderful. And it's because I'm working the program. But temptation has come a knocking recently because you get into your routine. Sometimes your program of recovery wanes. No pun intended. Anybody who knows knows. But when those stressors come up and I feel the need to drink, it's such a fleeting feeling. My mouth does not water anymore when I walk by a bar, or on a hot day if I see a cold beer. It just doesn't happen the same way. The body has adapted to this new way of living, of enjoying water, enjoying juice, enjoying things like the nectar of life that is a beautiful piece of fruit, and finding such a peace in that enjoyment. And that is where the higher power lives, in that moment of enjoyment from this piece of fruit that the earth produced for you to sustain more life for you, so you can help sustain more life around you. Is that not the most beautiful circle of life? And the program of recovery teaches us to delve into those moments, to pause, to feel, to journal, to write down our malfeasance, and find a way to be benevolent by admitting our wrongs, making change where necessary, advocating for yourself every day, meaning today I did this wrong. If I go to my partner and I say, I'm so sorry that this happened today, I was feeling this way, there is no excuse. I want to change that. Now, I think if all of us look at our day and look at ourselves, we could probably look at something that we could change, that we could admit to needing change. Maybe it's not to your partner. Maybe it's just to a bush. Maybe you speak to a flower or a bird like that crow that's trying to get my attention outside. Speaking things into life make power, make thoughts become ideas, become things. So if you're here with me now, we want to say we are powerless over this thing and our life has become unmanageable. What is that thing? What's that thing that you're powerless over? And let's lean into that. Is it feeling bad for yourself? Sometimes self-pity is so attractive, isn't it? Sometimes when I feel really crappy about myself and I cry and go into a ball and I act like a sad little flower because it's real, I feel so good after. I feel so good. Sometimes that has to happen. And when that does happen, I do feel a response of the people around me of real pity, sorrow, compassion. And because I feel that and I allow myself to sit through it and share it with others that I trust, it becomes something that no longer holds me and it no longer drives me to drink. And it no longer drives me to do other addictive things like eat too many gummy bears, drink too many Red Bull, run until my toenails fall off. I have a problem with over exercise. I have to keep it in check. I'll push my body until I break something. And it's another way to self-harm in this very manipulative type of coercive way. The brain has all kinds of fun little shortcuts it takes to trick you into the self-harm, because depression, addiction, sadness, it's so easy to creep in. We live in difficult times in difficult places. We were still supposed to be hunting and gathering, and most of us are sitting and typing. Think about that. I want y'all to get back to nature and find what feels good to you. Back to the text. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. Let's pause there. Top of page 85, into action. This chapter is so smart. It's true. You do not become like you're resisting temptation. That's not what happens. You get a perspective shift and you see how that poison was not serving you. And when we do these steps over and over, take accountability, share with someone else what we're feeling bad about, what lives rent-free inside of our mind, and then we make a change, move on. The honesty, the self-awareness, this is what finds a program of recovery, a freedom for you. You'll find peace and serenity. Back to the text. That's the miracle of it. We are not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we had been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. Oh, I love that text. You see how I'm like so excited. I want to cry because it makes so much perfect sense. Alcoholics in recovery, we are lucky. We are more lucky than the person who has not even discovered their drinking problem yet. Why? Because we have a neutrality. We have overcome alcohol. That's why when I say an alcoholic in recovery, I say it's okay if you say you're a recovered alcoholic, because the truth is the obsession has been lifted. The obsession is lifted when we dig down deep and find that alcohol was never the problem. It was the escape from the now that was driving us. So our healing, our recovery, our freedom, our serenity comes in feeling the now, recognizing it, speaking it to be truth, letting somebody else know, because support, humanity, and compassion are what make us human. And when we are in the bottle and in the drinking, we are so far removed from our humanity, our compassion, and our support. Right? So what are you doing today for your spirituality? What are you doing today to love yourself? For me today, it's this video. It's taking the time, reducing my stressors, talking to a person I haven't spoken to in a long time on the phone. I feel so much better. Whenever I reach out to somebody I care about, I feel better about myself. And I don't understand how that is, but service is the program of recovery. And so when you're feeling bad, go be of service in any way that serves you. What are your talents? What are your skills? What can you do? Get out of your own head and get in somebody else's way to help them. You have to keep in fit spiritual condition, says chapter 7, Into Action, on page 85. We have to keep in fit spiritual condition. That's what the big book says. So whatever that means for you, what are you doing to keep in fit spiritual condition? You need a physical, you need a mental, and you need a spiritual. PMS. Write it down, kids. PMS. Physical, mental, spiritual. What did you do physical today? Check it. What did you do for your mentality, your cognitive today, your cerebral? Check it. What did you do for your spirituality today? Check it. PMS. only 3 words. You can think about it. You can think about it. PMS. It's easy to remember. That's why we have all these cliches, these sayings, these idioms, these colloquialisms, and bumper stickers, because they help us remember. The repetition helps us remember. So when I'm feeling dysregulated at any given moment, I can just say, okay, I don't have to worry about tomorrow, next week, one day at a time, just right now. Put one foot in front of the other. Smart feet is what we say in the program. So have your smart feet and make a list of things you want to accomplish in the day and allow yourself to accomplish only one of them, just one. Even if all that is today is don't drink, check it off. You can drink anything other than alcohol. That's good for you. You know what I'm talking about. Don't find sarcastic solutions for that. We're here to love ourselves and each other. So enough of me ranting. I've been going on and on for almost an hour. It's going to be a lot of editing. I appreciate y'all sticking with my channel, even though for a while there I was not really feeling spiritually there to come to you with a video. But we're here for authenticity, aren't we? We're not here to be another weird AI, fake, what do you want me to be channel. No, we're real. We're humans. And that's what this channel is about, reaching out to other humans for support. So drop in the comments if you've stuck around this long. Hi to my friend Keith in the UK. Hi to my friend Dan in Alabama. Hi to my friend Noelle in California. And hi to my friend Mary in France. Today is June 2nd, 2026. We will end this episode with a reading from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. June 2nd, Tragedy and Peace. Too many prints in the same place, because the heart's narrow path and our arms its only gate. Let's read that again. Too many prints in the same place, because the heart's a narrow path and our arms its only gate. At times, so many memories trample my heart that it becomes impossible to know just what I'm feeling and why. My first love laughing in a park whose name I can never recall. My grandmother dying near her dirty bricks in Brooklyn. The dizziness of the Rockies telling me to go back among the living. My ex-wife's shoulders slouching tired in the rain. The old dog I used to live with chasing her tail, and 1,000 more. That all the ways we've been touched merge in the ground of who we are is a blessing, a gift of being human. It is what the sages of all traditions have called peace, the elusive moment that all things become one. That we can't sort our feelings and memories once the soil of our experience is tilled is the nature of staying alive. That we insist on keeping old wounds alive is our curse. Yet, as Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, our mind of love may be buried deep under many layers of forgetfulness and suffering. The difference I'm learning is in what we focus on. When I focus on the rake of experience and how its fingers dug into me and the many feet that have walked over me, there is no end to the life of my pain. But when I focus on the soil of heart and how it has been turned over, there is no end to the mix of feelings that defy my want to name them. Tragedy stays alive by feeling what's been done to us, while peace comes alive by living with the result. As we live in today and focus on what is important to us, finding our spiritual center, who we are, our inner child, our inner peace, the promises come true. Here's the meditation. Center yourself, and as you breathe, feel your heart with its 1,000 feelings beat within your chest. Breathe in a slow rhythm and let one experience rise that has helped shape you. For the moment, focus on the rake of this experience. Focus on the actions you received. Now focus on the soil of this experience. Focus on the result of being tilled by life. Note and feel the difference. Perspective. Until next time, no drinking, good choices. Rules are meant for bending. Namaste.